to answer that question. Why is it important what our mind is absorbed in? I know Iksaku Prabhu, but I'm going to see if anyone else is brave enough. Why is it important what our mind is absorbed in? Yes, what's your name, please? Bimal. Such power. Yes, Prabhu. Why is it important?
So that we are conscious what we are doing.
Yes. Thank you. Because we're conscious where our mind is going. But what happens if we find out that our mind isn't always going to the best place when we become conscious of our mind? Because it's important, because, as Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, is that when it's time to leave this world, whatever our mind is focused on, whatever our mind is absorbed in, that will determine our next life. And it is not that we can be thinking about Mickey Mouse all day long, every day, and then at the last moment of our life. Well, what does our mind go if we're thinking about silly things or things that aren't really helpful for us all day long? Well, naturally, what are we going to be thinking about when it's time to leave this world? Well, we're going to be thinking about the same things we're thinking about in life. We're going to be thinking about what we're attached to in life. That will determine our thoughts when it is time to leave the world. Now, when I open up a class with something like this, everyone suddenly gets very, very thoughtful and maybe even thinking, oh, maybe I should fill my thoughts with higher things, with things that are going to bring me to the best place. And everyone becomes very grave and sober. But don't worry, as soon as the class is over and it's time for prasadam, you'll forget everything. Unfortunately, but don't worry. Don't be too grave and sober. But really, it's not that anyone is telling us nowadays that life has a purpose, that there's a purpose to human life. No one brings up this subject. And the purpose for life is to gain something eternal, because we ourselves are eternal. To ask these questions, what is the purpose of my life, is very important. But no one really, practically speaking, thinks in this way. Everyone is so busy with all the distractions of life, and maintaining becomes such a difficulty, in planning and scheming and buying, and as I've become elderly, I've seen that you have to fill out so many forms all the time. Drives me crazy how many forms I'm expected to fill out, and how many passwords. Passwords, and they all are demanding special units in there and capital letters and this and that, and don't use any other password that you ever used before. I'm afraid that they're going to be researching to see what passwords I've been using ever before. But life really engages one. And unless, this is the bad news part of the class, don't worry. And unless we become very conscious, as our Bimal Prabhu said, and determined to not just drift along with life, unless we become determined to use our life properly, we will indeed drift along. That's Hindi, the extent of my Hindi. But the good news is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on this day, 535 years ago, I believe, He advented himself to give us some medicine for the material disease. The material disease is what? Raise your hand if you'd like to contribute an answer to this. Well, you have to raise your hand though. What's the material disease? Oh, if I asked it a little more carefully, and said, what is your material disease? What is your material attachment? Then of course, we don't expect anyone to raise their hand to tell us. But it's these material attachments. And in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there's an explanation by Krishna that it is like a tree, an endless banyan tree, a swata tree, that just pushes us from one place to the next based on our desires. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu came with a message. And that message was, please chant Krishna's holy names. Because Chaito Darpana Marjanam, your heart will be cleansed. And what does it mean to clean the heart? It means to change your desires. It means to change one's desires from those desires that aren't good for us, that aren't in our benefit actually, but to change the desires, to awaken desires that are actually the most beneficial for us, the most beneficial for us, the most beneficial, to awaken those desires, deep desires, spiritual desires, the desires of on the deepest level of who we are. The desires that will, if we fulfill them, if we nourish them, if we grow them, if we increase them, they'll bring us the satisfaction that we're longing for, that we won't find the satisfaction if we play continuously in the material energy and play with trying to satisfy those material desires. And if we just play with the material energy, meaning the land of Maya, illusion, is very, very sticky. You touch it, and it's not easy to get away from. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please take this chanting. This is the Yuga Dharma. Please take this chanting. And Nityananda Prabhu would wander around Godadesh, just begging people, please take to the chanting of Krishna's names. Please chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Please chant this. And no, Mataji, don't say sorry. We know that children do tend to cry sometimes. Why does a child cry? This is the mothers. Raise your hand. Any mother who will. Why does a child cry?
It's a way of talking.
You forgot to raise your hand though. Okay, it's a way of talking. And what are they saying when they're crying? They want their mom. Why do they want their mom?
Seeking attention.
You didn't raise your hand. You know that? Sometimes we do have to follow the rules, you know. It's okay. It's okay, Mataji. It's okay. If we don't follow the rules, it becomes like the traffic in Delhi, which is very dangerous. Or worse still, the traffic in Pune. So they want their mothers, but why do they want their mother? I'm sorry, what did you say?
To seek attention.
They want attention, they want their mothers, they want food, they want something's uncomfortable, they want it changed. They have a desire that's they want fulfilled. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada actually said that we should chant like a baby crying for mother. I want, I want, I want. I want. We can't stop wanting. But we want to change the quality of our wants, of our desires, to I want to love Krishna. There goes the second one. And a third. But you can come back. It's okay, my dear children. Now, what I wish to do this afternoon, evening, is read a pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some of his association with one of his dear devotees, mostly about his association with Murari Gupta, who was a physician, a Vaidya, and also he was actually a devotee of Lord Ram. And Mahaprabhu loved him so much because his devotion was so pure, so complete. When someone has deep devotion and loves you very much, then you can completely trust such a person. So Murari Gupta had that relationship, that loving relationship with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was ultimately Lord Rama also, and Mahaprabhu loved him so much. Now, in the middle of this reading, which I shall try to read quite dramatically, we're going to have some kirtan. And then we'll start the reading and then have kirtan. So when it's time for the reading, listen very, very carefully. And when it's time for the kirtan, sing and chant like a baby crying for mother. Cry out with your kirtan so that you pray to Krishna to be pleased with you, to allow him to let you to serve him. Please chant with a full heart when it's time. And if you forget, I'll try and remind you. Okay, let us begin. Sri Radharaman, I think it's better if we just begin with the harmonium because I already spoke far more than I was supposed to. But everyone is such a good-hearted audience. Prabhu, how did you get red in your hair? Are you naturally a redhead? Blue and red, you did holy hair today. Red and blue. I thought it was natural. I know that some people do dye their hair, but I thought you wanted to be very contemporary and dye it green and red and blue. It's quite nice. The glory of Murari Gupta. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Lord of my life. This is from the Vrindavan Das Thakur, from his Chaitanya Bhagavat. Now Murari Gupta, very interestingly, he wrote the first biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was a witness to all the things that he wrote about. Thousands, not thousands perhaps, but hundreds of devotees participated in what he saw. And he wrote it down. He was an eyewitness to these events. But we're not reading from his book, we're reading from the book of Vrindavan Das Thakur about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glory to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Lord of my life. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the master of Nityananda Prabhu, and Gadadhar. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has conquered Advaita Acharya and the other devotees. And then he offers a prayer. O Lord, please give me the gift of pure bhakti, pure devotional service, and please deliver this poor, lowly, wretched person whose heart is filled with so many desires. All glories to the fair lion who is the son of Sachi. Jai Sachidananda. All glory to the Lord whose feet remove all sufferings. We cannot see those feet right now, but those of you who are very fortunate, remember those lotus feet. O Lord, please be merciful to me. Please allow my heart to stay always at your lotus feet. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Narayana. Staying in Navadvip in Mayapur with his associates, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu floated in the happiness of devotional service. The Lord loved the devotees as much as he loved his own life's breath, embracing them and calling out Krishna, Krishna. Tears would flow from his eyes and he would weep. And seeing the Lord's great spiritual love for Krishna, the devotees surrounding him would also weep. Seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotional love, even persons whose hearts were like stones or like dried wood, they too would become overwhelmed with love. Turning from their wealth, their children, and their homes, the devotees chanted the holy names day and night in the Lord's company. And hearing about Lord Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became overwhelmed with love, prema bhakti. Accepting the role of a devotee for 6 hours at a time as he chanted kirtan in the home of Srivas Thakur and other homes of his devotees. He would weep sometimes for 6 hours straight, and water would flow from his eyes, tears like the Ganga river flows. And when he would laugh in his ecstasy, he would laugh for 3 hours straight. And when he fell unconscious, for 3 hours in his ecstasies of love for Krishna, he did not breathe. Sometimes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not act like a devotee, but rather he would act in his actual position of Krishna. He would reveal his true nature and he would proudly declare, I am he. I am he. He would then laugh, saying, where is that old man, Advaitacharya, who brought me here? I will carry the ocean of devotional service, of love for Krishna, to every home. And 500 years ago, 400 years ago, 300 years ago, 200 years ago, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 30 years ago, or even 10 years ago, who could have imagined that we would be sitting in the second most isolated city in the whole entire world in one room, ready to chant Krishna's holy names? This is the potency of Srila Prabhupada carrying the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I will carry the nectar of devotional service to every home. And the next moment he would call out, Oh Krishna, Krishna, "Oh, Krishna." And he would weep still more. Again and again, when the Lord would recite a verse about Akrura's journey to Vrindavan, when he would, that's from the Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, sometimes he would fall like a stick to the ground. Then he would become just like a Akrura. He would adopt the mood of Akrura. And his external consciousness would leave him far away, and he would be immersed in longing to be with Krishna, to see Krishna. "Oh, Nanda," he would say in that mood, "please come with Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. We will all then see the great royal festival of the Dhanurjagya, the bow sacrifice." If you are not familiar with this part of the Bhagavatam, if you are newly coming here, please excuse me for speaking all these things that you may not be familiar with. Excuse me for that, but this is the way the story, the pastime unfolds. When the Lord was performing his pastime, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and dancing during kirtan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu strictly forbade the presence of anyone other than his intimate associates, his inner circle. But once, during this time, there was an austere, saintly, and faultless Brahmana who lived in Mayapur Navadvip. And he lived, his only food was he would drink milk. He never even ate rice. And if you're a Bengali, you would know how austere that is. True or not true? Nischay. But this Brahmana, being very, very pure-hearted, he yearned to see the Lord's kirtan and his dancing. He yearned for his heart to melt, hearing Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu call out the names of Krishna and see his dancing and the tears coming from his eyes. But before the kirtan would begin, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would himself go to the gates and lock the doors before he would begin kirtan. And then only his devotees and no one else was allowed to enter. Just like tonight. Only very, very special souls are allowed to enter and be present on this day. And every single day, because Mahaprabhu performed this kirtan at night with the devotees for over a year, every single day, this Brahmana, this austere and saintly Brahmana, came to the house of Srivas Thakur where the kirtans were being held. And he was yearning to see the Lord's dancing. And he would say to Srivas, if for one day, if for once you would be merciful to me, please allow me to enter the house. Then I will be able to see the great Sri Chaitanya Nimai Pandits dancing. Then my eyes will have attained their perfection. And the goal of my life will have been reached. So sincere. And every day the Brahmana repeated this request. And one day, Srivas Thakur replied, I know you have always been a good person, but the time has not yet come for you to taste the fruit of your long brahmacharya, your long austerities. But it is also clear to me that you are free from all sin, and therefore I will let you see the Lord's kirtan. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order, Nimai Pandit's order, is that no one should enter, I will secretly allow you to come inside. Do you feel happy or sad? How do you feel, Gopal? Baba? Shubham? Mataji? How do you feel? Maybe there's a chance for us. But this pastime has not yet unfolded, and perhaps your happiness will soon turn to sadness. Please listen. Speaking these words, Srivasta Thakur allowed the Brahmin to enter and gave him a place to hide. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the master of the 14 worlds, he began to dance. And he was surrounded in the 4 directions by his fortunate devotees, and everyone sang Krishna, Rama, Oh Mukunda, Oh Murari, Oh Vanamali, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And there was a great tumult. Nityananda and Gadadhar, they were embracing each other, and Advaita joyfully ran here and there. And overcome with spiritual bliss, no one was in external consciousness. Everyone was fully absorbed in the kirtan of the holy names. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the king of Vaikuntha, began to dance. No one could hear any other sound than Haribol, Haribol, and he That's like 50%. Now let's try this one more time. No one, you were very, very good though. What's your boy's name? The little one. Huh? Balvit. Palvit. That was very good. You are very enthusiastic. Thank you very much. And in the kirtan with Mahaprabhu dancing, there could be no other sound that was heard other than Thank you. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wept. His body trembled in ecstasy, and he loudly roared, and the hairs of his body stood erect. Who can describe all the symptoms of his ecstasy? Nevertheless, in the middle of this kirtan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the crest jewel, the topmost of all who know everything, he could perceive a Brahmin is hiding in the house. He stopped the kirtan. He stopped the dancing. And he said, why do I not feel ecstasy today? I know that someone is hiding in this house who does not belong. I think it's me. More than that, I do not know. He called for Srivasta Thakur. Please now tell me the truth. Frightened, Srivasta said, Lord, no blasphemer, no one who criticizes the Lord, God, or the devotees is in the house. But there is one good Brahmin, Brahmachari, and he lives only by drinking milk. He's so austere. His whole life he has been sinless. He has great faith in you, and he wanted to see your dancing, and I have allowed him to hide in my house, and this you know very well. And hearing this, Lord Chaitanya angrily said, quickly, take him immediately from this house. What power has he to see my dancing? Raising his arms and spreading his fingers. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared, merely by drinking milk, one cannot attain me, because one needs complete devotion. One's heart has to be completely filled with nothing other than devotional service, love for Krishna, affection for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One has to be under his spell to be able to be this closely associated with him and join the kirtan with a complete bliss of Vrindavan has descended. But yet, even if an outcast takes shelter of me, then he is mine and I am his. Only bhakti, giving oneself to the Lord, is the only qualification, Mahaprabhu said. And know that without a doubt. Even if one is a sannyasi and does not take shelter of me, then he is not mine. I speak the truth. What austerities did Gajendra, the elephant, 8th canto of the Bhagavatam, what austerities did the monkeys who were with Ram achieve? Or the gopis or gopas in brass? How did they attain me? Tell me. The demons perform austerities, and what happens to them? Without taking shelter of me, saying, I am yours, Lord. No one has the power to attain me. Then the Lord said directly about this brahmachari, merely by drinking milk, one does not get the power to attain me. And when I see that brahmachari, I will rip him to pieces. He is where he does not belong. Now all your happiness and my happiness has faded into great terror. Frightened, the brahmachari quickly went outside. In his heart, what was he thinking? He was thinking this: I am very fortunate to have seen the Lord and his dancing for one moment. Only because of my offenses, the things I've done wrong, or even worse, offenses are worse. I've insulted or criticized great souls. Because of this, I have been punished. But I was so fortunate to see for a few moments this wonderful dancing and this wonderful kirtan, and only because of my offenses was I rebuked. When confronted with the Lord's punishment, a true devotee thinks in that way. This is very, very difficult, this platform. It sounds so simple, but it is very difficult. When someone chastises us for something that we may have done, or chastises us for something we have not done, but he doesn't know what we really have done. He doesn't, because that's one way to look at criticism. Just imagine, and this is a favorite example of mine, just imagine if there was a loudspeaker hooked up from your mind to the outside world. Would anyone still talk to us even? But the Brahmin, considering his chastisement as well deserved, he walked from the home of Srivas Thakur, thinking himself very fortunate. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the super soul in the heart of everyone, he understood the Brahmin's thoughts, and he immediately called for him, and he brought him back. He, who is an ocean of kindness, placed his lotus feet on the Brahmin's head and said to him, "Don't try to become powerful by performing austerities. Know that devotional service. Know that devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Know that bhakti. Know that giving yourself and making offerings to the Supreme Lord with great devotion, trying to please Him with no other motive other than His pleasure. Know that that is the best of spiritual activities." Mahaprabhu didn't say what I'm going to say now, but it's a little bit of a purport, a commentary by me. It doesn't make a difference what that activity is, whether it's sweeping the floor, whether it's cooking prasadam, whether it's bringing some rice to the Lord, whether it's putting some donation in the handi, in the donation box, whether it's talking to someone, whether it's singing, whether it's chanting japa, whether it's whatever it is, if it is done for His pleasure, may you be pleased by this. May you be pleased by this. Not may I be pleased by this, but may but you be pleased. You are the center of this act that I am performing. May you be pleased. May I cook for your pleasure. May I take care of my family for your pleasure. May I do this for your pleasure. Whatever it is, if Krishna is the center, whether it appears big or small, it is wonderful, and it can conquer Krishna. Know that devotional service to the Lord, Supreme Lord, bhakti, is the best of all spiritual activities. The Brahmana, whom the Lord blessed by placing His own lotus feet upon his head, heard this. He wept with joy, and from then on always thought of the Lord's kindness to him. And the devotees all said, Hari, Hari. It's amazing, because the devotees didn't think, why did he get more mercy than me? Why this? Why that? They were happy to see him get some blessings and mercy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that is the specific quality of a devotee. He is free from envy. He's happy at the happiness and fortune of others, and sad at the misfortune of others. And all the devotees then offered their obeisances to this brahmachari, who only up to this point was drinking milk, and that was not his great fortune. But his great fortune was that he had this very sincere desire. He may not have had the qualification in one sense, but he had that very sincere desire. Tatra lo yamapi mulane kalam. And that desire is the price. And perhaps, and I'll tell you why I say perhaps in a moment, perhaps that is the part that's really in our control. That we do have some freedom on that level. We maybe not be able to shift our life very much, but desiring is so important. As the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita says, our situation is based on our desire. We are here because of our desires, and we will so cultivate good desires. Better than good desires, spiritual desires. And that's how we began our talk for this morning. Because I've only read 2 pages, and it seems that's why I'm thinking it's better if it was morning. Maybe able to finish, but we won't be able to finish. So everyone offered their obeisances. And listen to this right now, because there is a benediction attached to this, all you who have heard this. Happily calling out Hari Hari, all the devotees offered their Dandavat obeisances. And then Vrindavan Das Thakur says, anyone who faithfully hears these confidential pastimes, these very secret and special pastimes, will certainly meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that meeting is inevitable. That is what the blessing of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur is. And that meeting is inevitable. Now, I could ask you, why do you think it's inevitable? And I will ask you that. Why do you think it's inevitable? But raise your hand, please. Yes. Yes. But that's not what I was thinking. But yes, it's true. But he's done more than that. He didn't just go, Asiyavad, Asiyavad. But he's done something else. He's explained this pastime in such a way that it plants the seed of desire in our heart to get some mercy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And because what we desire, it will lead us. This is such an important point. Our desires are very important, and we should be very careful. And I'm not only speaking of all of you, I'm speaking of myself too. We should be very careful. What desires we cultivate in our heart, in our consciousness, because that too will inevitably come to us by Krishna's mercy, by Krishna's arrangement, by the Bhokta Bhakta, the Anumanta, the witness, the permitter. So soon we're going to have a very big fortune of seeing Nitai and Gaur. And right now we can even look at Srila Prabhupada. And if we so desire, we can just take a moment to perhaps offer a prayer on what desire, let's say the best part of us desires. Not all the rest, but the best part of us desires. So let's just take a moment, and if our prayers, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, let that be. But let it be sincere. Whatever it is, let it be sincere. That's the point. Let it be sincere. If what we want is a new bicycle, okay. But at least we're pointed in the right direction. That's the right person. But I say we should try for the best. and not an iPhone 12. Have a little kirtan. Chant and really mean it. Oh Lord, oh energy of the Lord, please allow me to serve you. At least let me serve you with my tongue and ear by chanting and hearing the holy names.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Everyone.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Everyone chant. Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Everyone!
Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Everyone again, everyone, everyone. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. C. Nitai Gaur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Wait, and now? Oh, we have 2 more minutes. What do you want?
Maybe you can finish off now.
I'm happy.
So finish off now, whatever last week you said. Closing.
Oh, yes.
Closing.
Brajanandana Prabhu said, I should say one more thing as closing. And if everyone be a little quiet just for 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, and then we can be noisy again. Just 1 minute, quiet, quiet, quiet. I want to say one thing. Please chant Hare Krishna as much as you can. Fill your mind with Krishna's holy names, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and be happy. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so I'll make announcement. Okay. I can only allow you to announce a retreat. That's it. No, not. I don't think it's. What is it first?
It's a bhajan for Gaura
No,
Nitai.
it's not the
Already
For who? Paskananda. Okay.
we can do it after that.
Where? After. The retreat you can
We
announce.
still have 15 minutes.
No. Now you announce a retreat. That's it. Then we go for Gaurati. After the Singapore, you can sing that one.
What time is it?
Now, when you finish it now. Okay. So Hare Krishna. Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Please give a big round of applause to His Grace Pujan Prabhu. So today is, as we all know, it's Gaura Purnima, the appearance day or the event of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they have been opening. There will be open soon for everyone to see, for everyone to put their eyes fixed on them, and there will be the Gaura Aarti, and everyone will be stand up. But before that, just one last announcement from His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu about a retreat coming up for his for a lot of the devotees who like to participate. So welcome Jayawada Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. On 26th of April, we are doing a wellness and yoga retreat at Lake Monga Community Center. It's a one-day retreat, morning 8 to 5 p.m. There's only 30 spots in this retreat because of COVID and other restrictions that we have. So what it entails, Hatha Yoga, there will be a Yin Yoga class, and there will be a presentation by an Ayurvedic doctor, followed up by a free Ayurvedic consultation. And then we will launch into Kirtan, and finally a sound healing session with a very sought after artist who travels around the world doing sound healing. And please join us, and all the profit from this retreat will go towards the new temple construction project. So please support us. As I said, there's only 30 spots, so please see me outside. I'll give you more details if you need. And that's about it. And also, please stay back if you're staying for the Aarti. After the Aarti, there is a special offering to Gaura Nitai, and especially it is for all the young devotees who have their interest in music. Please come see me. This is an offering by a youth, a member of the youth here, Bhaktin Isha, and I would like to form a band. Please listen to her effort. It is beautiful offering, and I want to inspire all the youth to take up this challenge of singing for Gaura Nitai, maybe form a band. So please stick around just for 5 minutes after the Nasimha prayer. Hare Krishna.
Yep. So those who want to stick around after Nishina prayer, there'll be a little more program. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming for the program. Thank you for attending this nice, wonderful festivals. So today is the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's our new year, right? We all have our new year. Chinese have their new year. Indians have their new year. Other Christians have their new year. We also have our new year. Today is the first day of the Vaishnava calendar, number 1 day. So today we celebrate the appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One more time before we go to Aarti. Put your hands up. Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Krishna Krishna! Hare Hare! Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Well done, good job. So now we have Gora Ati. So, so daily greeting. All right. We all please put the mat away. All right, the mat can go away. Give some, the ladies on this side, men on this side. The mat can go away. Ready? All right. So